Welcome to 5 Good Minutes
You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Esther
with Kurt Bjorklund.
If you read through Esther chapter 2, you see that Mordecai uncovers this conspiracy, and there are all of these intertwined stories: Xerxes, Haman, Esther, Mordecai. And John Ortberg teaches on this chapter at one point and talks about something he calls shadow mission. And he says that the shadow mission is the mission that may not be apparent, but it's what we live for. And he goes on to say that for Xerxes, his shadow mission was his ego, his power. It wasn't to rule his country well, but it was to be somebody who had power, who was revered, whose ego was made much of. For Haman, he says that the shadow mission was honor. For Esther, he says her potential shadow mission was security. In other words, saying, I don't want to put myself out there. I've got a nice place as the queen. I don't need to risk anything in this. And what John Ortberg goes on to basically argue is that we all have the potential of a shadow mission, that God calls us to something, gives us an opportunity to live in a certain way, in a place with a calling, and then we have a shadow mission. And he said that he had spent some time with some people exploring this, and I probably am misquoting this a little, but because it's been a while since I've heard this teaching, but he said something along the lines of this, and that is that the people who have a shadow mission often don't describe it well. But one man that he said described it said his shadow mission was to watch TV and be comfortable while people around him died and went to hell. You see, a shadow mission doesn't have to be some dark thing. It can just be something that says, I just want to amuse myself. I just don't want to be bothered. And so my question today is this: as you read through Esther 2, is there a shadow mission that you have? Something that drives your decisions, your choices, more than what it is that God has called you to where you are? If you're like Xerxes, is it to be in charge, in control of your life? To say, I want to have all of the choices. I don't want to give power in my life over to God. Is it like Haman to say, I need to be honored, and if somebody dishonors you in any way that it bothers you, instead of saying, I am here to serve? Is it like Esther, maybe just saying, I want to be secure and I don't want anything to damage my potential to be in a place of full security? And it's in naming these shadow missions that we actually find strength and freedom from them. Because when we are able to name a shadow mission, it loses some of its power. We're able to say, I have a shadow mission, and here is what my shadow mission has been. All of a sudden, it loses some of the sway, some of the power that perhaps it has had at other times in your life. And so, today, what is your potential shadow mission? Can I just encourage you to take some time, try to think about it, maybe even jot it down somewhere and say, this is what is my mission at times, really. And it gets masked behind a better mission. You know, maybe you're a mom and you say, hey, my whole life is serving my kids and my family. But maybe your shadow mission is to be well thought of. Maybe you work, man or woman, and you work really hard and you say, you know, I'm working hard to further the company, but maybe down deep your shadow mission is to be honored, to be well thought of, to be the person who never lets the company down. Or maybe you're a person around church and your shadow mission is you want people to appreciate you and to say what a good person you are. Do you see how shadow missions can take us away from our God mission? What is the shadow mission you're prone to? And how can you move your life to stay on God's mission?
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.